Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of the 808 podcast. It's a podcast where we take business owners, CEOs, marketing directors, whoever else I feel like, 4 questions, 8 minutes and 8 seconds, because 808 looks like Bob, and here we go. Question number 1 in a few sentences. Tell me who you are and what do you do?
Well, hi, Bob. I am Mark Turkel from Palm Beach Software Design, and I'm the CEO and Senior Software Architect here. Our company's been building custom software applications since 1987, and we've been building applications for resale as well as internal use for different companies on web, desktop, and mobile platforms. In other words, we basically build it all. We don't do video games. We work in most different industries, but recently we've been specializing in working with Amazon FBA sellers, and we've also gone down a tangent of marketing automation. We fell in love with a product called SharpSpring, and we became silver certified. And I love making the machines do the work, and that's kind of what got me into this to begin with. We work with all different sizes of businesses. We have some really great talent, both locally and abroad. A few of our most recent projects included an ERP system for the electronics parts and components distribution industry. And that's a really large project with millions of lines of code and lots of people working on it. But we also do small projects as well. One of the most recent small projects we did was a little calculator for a finance company so people can go to their website and calculate interest and payments and things like that on the screen. So if it's an exciting, fun project, we want to do it.
Love it, Mark. Question number 2, what advice do you want to share? Go.
The best advice I can share is in regards to your next project, whether it's software or not. I think these items, they worked out for me. And, of course, we learn things the hard way sometimes over the last 35 years. But I have about 6 good pointers for you. So the first one is have a written plan. Without a plan, you're working off emotion and great ideas towards one or more goals, and there's no true definition of the beginning, middle, or end of the project. And that's a big no-no, because unless your customer has unlimited funds, it turns into a disaster without a plan.
Right.
The 2 important things that somebody ought to do is list out the main requirements for the project. What are you trying to accomplish? And secondly, list the primary means and methodologies to satisfy those requirements. How are you going to get there? Number 2 is find the right talent for the job, whether it's internal talent, external talent, or a combination of both. It's important that the team members for this project know what to do, how to accomplish their tasks, and also get along well together. That's very important. Number 3 is review your plan with the new team. Make sure they know what's in your head, because as much as people want to think that they understand, until you put it in black and white, go through it line by line with them, there's going to be differences. So review the plan, make changes and edits together so they're part of this plan, and then make the team provide a timeline with milestones to track the project. If you're not tracking your dates and times and progress, the project may not ever finish. Number 4 is have a procedure for handling changes. So whether we're filming a TV show or building a software application or what, there should be a procedure for making changes, and not just say, okay, stop this and let's go. So normally what we do is we write out a mini plan, a mini timeline. We figure out who's going to be part of this change, and then we present it to the client. And it's also important to remember that anytime you change a project, it changes the end date of the project as well. So these are important things. Just as well, number 5 is have a procedure for handling issues. When issues come up, there should be a clear way for the person with the problem to report the problem. They should know who is the recipient of that problem, and there should be a procedure to track how that's been being dealt with all this time. And finally, most importantly as well, have a weekly progress meeting. Make sure there's a structure for people to report. What I ask my people is, what have you accomplished last week? What are you working on right now? And what are you trying to get done for this week? And finally, what issues are you having trouble with?
Love it there. Oh, go ahead.
No, and I was going to say, I think following those rules, it should get you by as long as you're staying true to the project.
Yep. Well, let me ask you this. When you said question number 2, hire good people, when you're hiring software developers, is there anything that they say that you would say is a red flag?
Yeah, for red flags would be people that swap jobs to gain an increase in income. That is becoming the current new way to get a raise in larger corporations, is leaving the company and going to another company for a higher amount of money and then coming back. And what that does for me is makes me feel like the people are not going to be loyal to anything but the money. And I want people that fall in love with the project, that people that want to learn the new technologies, and people that really enjoy seeing the end users benefit from their work. So that's the first red flag, is when somebody's just jumping around for money.
Awesome. Love that. There. Let's get to question number 3. It is time for you to give shout outs. Who are you shouting out?
Oh, I can shout out first and foremost, my wife and son. They have put up with all my great and bad ideas for the last 35 years, stuck by me through thick and thin. And, they're at the point now that they know I'm going to give it a shot regardless. And if I fail, okay, we'll move on and find something else. But it's always been wonderful to know that my family unit is behind me 100%. I additionally want to send a shout out to my business coach, Kathleen Mancino. I've been working with her for over a year now, and we have doubled the amount of work, the amount of income.
Nice.
And we've really managed to streamline a lot of the problems that we were having in the company. And I'm a happy guy with a smile on my face now.
Love it. Hey, we only got 90 seconds left. Let's get to question number 4. Final fun question. Mark, tell me about your first sale.
All right, this is a cool one. It was for a company in England called the Stratford Land Company. And they actually bought a plot of land where William Shakespeare lived. And they divided up the properties into 1-inch segments. And I wrote my first programming for them, and I got paid for it, to actually print out the deed and allocate that 1-inch by 1-inch and store the information in a database for them. So it was fun. I was able to negotiate a square inch of land for myself as well.
Love it there. Hey, Mark, you've got 53 seconds left. You can do some promo time. You can ask me a question. You can talk about the weather. Or since the best know when to be concise and when to end early, we end early. Go for it.
Okay, well, the other thing I'd like to tell you about is I have a wonderful networking group called Palm Beach Elite Networking, and the website's palmbeachelitenetworking.com. It's a free group. It is strictly for business owners and C-level executives. We meet every week. It's a different activity every week. We have a lot of fun, and business really happens there. So I encourage everybody, wherever you are, come check us out. We meet on Thursdays, and we're a fun group.
Love it. You pulled it off there. 4 questions in 8 minutes and 8 seconds. Mark, why is it 8 minutes and 8 seconds?
Because I remember Bob.
Love it. Love it there. Your website, say it real quick.
PalmBeachSoftware.com.
It's in the description. It's magic. Mark, thank you so much for being on. Tip of the hat to you.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Bob.
You're welcome. And for everyone else watching or listening, I am legally required to tell you to like, share, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, ring the bell, whatever the heck the social media network tells you all to do. You all have a good one now. Talk to you later. Bye.